It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you, and welcome to this special edition of Science Bowl. The two teams you're about to meet have won once previously, and today's winner moves on to the semifinal eliminations. Let's go over and make sure everything is working properly, and let's meet the teams. First, from Mattaponi, would you please say hello to Nora Bachman, Sierra Sweeney, and Miles Chandler. And from Montpelier, say hello to Katie Godshaw, DJ Pigram, and Nathan Mensa. And now here are the categories of questions we use on the Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to question difficulty. The easier questions on the left worth 5 and 10. Tougher ones, 15, 20, ultimately 25. Toughest of them all in our categories. We start our teams out at 50 points apiece. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. And today's winner will play Magnolia Elementary in the semifinal eliminations. Congratulations, teams, for making it this far in our competition. Let's make sure everything's working properly. Mattaponi, would you try your buzzer? Sierra. Thank you. Good luck to you, to Nora, and to Miles. And DJ, would you try yours? Thank you, young man. Good luck to you, to Nathan, and to Katie. Are we ready? Yeah. Let's do this. Let's have a great game. We go alphabetically M-A before M-O. So Mattaponi, Sierra, let's start the bowl.
Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points. Teams, even though these are lowly green aquatic plants, do they really deserve to be called pond scum? What green plants am I talking about? Sierra.
Seaweed.
Give me another name. Judges, we'll give it to you. Seaweed or algae is what we were looking for. Good answer. Go red.
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. Teams, what green thing is also the name of a network for kids? It's another name for a bud or a shoot and often follows the word DJ.
Sprout.
Sprout, yeah, I was going to say follows the word Brussels, but you didn't even need that clue. Sprout it is. Go, green.
Zoo Parade for 10 points.
Zoo Parade for 10 points. Teams, what worm that is actually the larva of an eventual moth has been domesticated by people and turns out beautiful cloth? Name that worm. Turns out beautiful cloth.
Worm. The silkworm?
The silkworm it is. Absolutely right. Thank you, Katie, for your assist. The silkworm. Go, DJ.
Let's get physical for 10 points.
Physical for 10 points. Here's a multiple choice question for you, teams. Gold and silver are pure metals, but bronze is a mixture of copper and tin. Since it's a mixture, do we call it a hybrid, a polymer, or an alloy? Which one, Montpelier?
Alloy.
An alloy, absolutely. An alloy is when you put metals together. Nicely done. Thank you, Nathan. Montpelier off to a quick start. Where next?
Zoo Parade for 15 points.
Zoo Parade for 15 points. Teams, you know when you talk about animals and experimentation, mice come to mind, white rats come to mind, but what other rodent is what people normally refer to when we talk about an experimental subject in a laboratory? He's going to be a what?
Rat.
Montpelier.
Rat.
No, I already said, not mice, not white rats. What other rodent is normally invoked when we talk about being a volunteer in a scientific experiment? You're going to be a what?
A lab rat?
A guinea pig. A guinea pig. A guinea pig is someone who volunteers, kind of the quintessential laboratory experimental animal. Try again, please, green. DJ? Yes, sir.
Zoo parade for 5 points.
Zoo parade for 5 points. Teams, what classic American bovine that is home on the range is best known for being one time on the back of the nickel? Mattaponi.
Buffalo.
The buffalo, absolutely right. The buffalo nickel was prized by collectors. Thank you, Nora. You knew that one. Go, red.
Body assistance for 10.
Body assistance for 10 points. Team's multiple choice question. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton recently had a clot in a blood vessel between her skull and her brain. To treat that clot in that blood vessel, did they treat her with anticoagulants, antibiotics, or antihistamines? Come on, Montpelier.
Anticoagulant.
Absolutely right. That's a tough word to say, but you did it nicely. The coagulants break up that clot. Good answer. Go, green.
Science potpourri for 10.
Science potpourri for 10 points. Teams, you know, way back before iPhones and social media, remember when tweets were once bird sounds? Yeah, you remember that? Maybe you don't. And these were fruits. DJ.
Apple.
Apples, that's right. Apples and blackberries were fruits way back when. Now, of course, they're electronic devices. Good answer. Go green.
Let's get physical for 5 points.
Get physical for 5 points. Teams, you remember Frosty the Snowman with the corncob pipe and the button nose and 2 eyes made out of this fossil fuel, Mattaponi?
Coal.
Coal, that's right. You all just about fell off your seats on that one. I think you all knew it. That's right. Okay. We don't want to have any injuries up here. 70 for red, 105 for green. Yes, ma'am.
The judges gave the points to us.
Judges? Thank you, Katie. You're absolutely right. Red advantage, go. We will change that score. We appreciate that.
Goodness. Green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. Teams, your question is as follows. Lycopsids are ancient plants that produce cones like conifers, but instead of those cones containing seeds, they contain these reproductive units normally associated with ferns. Montpelier.
Spores.
Spores is absolutely right. Good answer. Good. Go, green. Oh, the buzzer has rung. That means we've come to the end of the first round. It's been a good one. Our score at this point is Mattaponi 75, Montpelier 100. We'll be back with more Science Bowl in just one moment. Don't go away.
My name is Tim Levitt, and this is my American story. When I was in Iraq, basically a suicide bomber came up and tried to blow our truck up, and so I came back and kind of had a difficult time transitioning. I saw what the other guys were going through, and I wanted to try to make that a little bit better. One of the biggest difficulties that vets are having is when we're in the military, everything is a one-stop shop. What Vet Corps is trying to do is we're trying to strategically place people who've been through that transition and can directly relate to these individuals coming back. These men and women have sacrificed a lot and have gone through a lot, and they're going to continue to go through a lot because a lot of times we can't make it on our own. We need help.
Every one of us has a role to play in making our communities and our country stronger. Discover yours. Help us continue to make a difference in the life of our nation. Go to serve.gov and find the opportunity that works for you. This message is brought to you by the Corporation for National and Community Service.
I always thought being a good mother meant raising my baby myself. But when I got pregnant, I realized I wasn't ready to be a parent. So I did something I thought I could never do. I chose adoption. It was really hard, but I know my baby is with a loving family and has a very bright future.
Sometimes choosing adoption is being a good mother. Visit us at ichooseadoption.org.
Welcome back to Science Bowl. Nice to have you here today. 6 outstanding young people playing the game. A few personal items about each one. If you missed them when they were here earlier, here's your chance to find out about some of Prince George's best. Let's go to Mattaponi first and Sierra. Nice to have you back again. You always bring so much energy to the show here and so much science knowledge. How do you guys know so much science? What do? Do you practice before you get here?
Yes.
Yeah.
play a game called Visit Wizard, where we sit in our sponsor's classroom, Mr. Poya, and he reads a question from his card and tells us what subject it is, and we have to work as a team or by ourselves to try to answer it.
So teamwork is very important here, and that shows. It looks like you guys have worked together before. Mr. Puglia told me that you did. Who's the principal at Mattaponi?
Dr. Hay.
Dr. Hay. And did you have an alternate on your team?
Yes, Aaliyah Castle.
Wonderful. And she'll be out in just a few moments with Mr. Puglia, who has done a great job. This is his first year. Actually, I think it's his second year as sponsor of the team. Tell me about Mattaponi. What's the best thing about that school? There are so many good things on there. What do you brag about?
PE. PE.
PE?
Yes.
Yeah. You know, you have to sit all day, don't you? And it's nice to be able to get up and move and kind of get those muscles going. And PE is really important. And PE is not just dodgeball anymore. You do so many lots of good things out there. Thanks for sharing that with me, Sierra. What do you want to do someday?
Be a scientist or a musician.
That's right. And I know you play the piano. And what else do you play?
The violin.
Violin. Wow. Talented young lady. Always good to have you here. Nora, nice to have you with us. You bring a lot of energy to this game. Have you always wanted to play this game?
Well, I just learned about it in 4th grade, and I thought it would be cool because I do like science.
Yeah, well, you're in the right place, and you're a good contestant, and you know lots of science, and someday you want to be?
An architect.
An architect. Yeah, we've talked about some of the great buildings, and is there a building out there that you've seen that you really appreciate and kind of, boy, I wish I had done that one?
I've seen one, but I can't remember what it's called. It's like a half sphere, like the dome.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's so many, like dome, like maybe like the Jefferson Memorial downtown. That has that dome and those columns. That's that classic building down there. I'm sure you'll be successful, whatever you want to do. Nice to have you with us. Miles, nice to have you with us. He's the techie guy here on the panel. And you told me that you wanted to be on this show for a while. You practiced. Your discipline came through. You're a basketball player. What position you play on the basketball team?
Shooting guard.
Wonderful. All right. And someday you want to design?
Yes.
Video games, right? All right. So a video game designer, a scientist, musician, and an architect. Montpelier, nice to have you guys back with your bulldog. Does your bulldog mascot have a little name there?
Yeah, his name is Monty.
Monty from Montpelier. That makes sense to me. And you guys have matching Science Bowl shirts over there. You look good. Miss Bella Clamage, I know, got those for you. She's been with Science Bowl for many, many years and just a great teacher, great sponsor. Really cares about your success here today. Tell me about Montpelier. What's really neat about Montpelier?
We have great teachers and students.
Yeah. You being good examples of those great students out there. Tell me about any alternates on your team.
We have Harris Children.
All right, we'll bring Harris out in just a few moments to join Miss Clamage. And someday, DJ, we want to see you. You'll be doing what?
I want to be a marine biologist.
Yeah. And you told me that you snorkeled once. What got you interested in marine biology?
I just had a knack for sharks and just how they work.
They're endlessly fascinating to us because they don't care about us. We're dinner to them. Not too many animals look at us that way, and they've been around since time immemorial. Absolutely fascinating. You play a good game. Keep it up. Nathan, nice to have you here. I understand your brother was on Science Bowl at one time, and now he's at Eisenhower, so you're following in the family tradition. Have you thought about being on this show for a while? Good. Nice to have you here. Tell me about yourself.
Well, I like to bake in my spare time sometimes, and I like to ask my dad if we can go to the basketball courts.
Yeah, that's cool. Does he play with you? Good. And who teaches you how to bake? Or do you teach yourself?
My aunt.
Oh, your aunt. Wow. And what has she taught you? What is one of her specialties?
Cupcakes.
Cupcake. Oh. Did you bring any for us today, Nathan? That would have been worth a couple extra points to you. I'm just joking. You keep up your good work. Katie, nice to have you here. You were an alternate before, and now you're here on the set. We're so glad to have you. Tell us the Katie story. What do you do in your spare time?
Well, sometimes, most of the time I'm actually stuck doing my homework after school, but sometimes I like to read and play with my friends.
Wow. I can tell you're a very serious-minded student, and thank you for pointing out that discrepancy in the math. You're obviously a good math student, and you're sensitive to what's going on here today. What do you want to do someday?
Well, I would like to be a teacher, but if that doesn't work out, I'd rather be a meteorologist.
Wow. Well, I'm a meteorologist in my spare time. It's a great profession, and teaching is probably the best profession, and I can see you being a teacher. I can see you being very patient with students. And you're a smart young lady. Good to have you here. Let's get back to our game. 115 Montpelier, 65 for Mattaponi. Lots of points to give away. Last correct answer came from the green team. So DJ, start us out.
Dateline signed for 10 points.
Dateline for 10 points. Your question is as follows. Team's famed astronomer Michael Brown, also known as a planetary predator, has just written a book called How I Killed What? Mattaponi?
Pluto.
Pluto, absolutely right. We're blaming him. Absolutely good. Go red.
Science potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points. Teams, one of the favorite toys this past Christmas was a kit that came with Mentos mints, Diet Coke, and a tube to produce these G-initial giant fountains like Montpelier.
Geysers.
Geysers, yeah. Have you ever mixed Diet Coke and Mentos together? Woof! You can have a kitchen to clean up if you do it inside. Go green.
Body systems for 5 points.
Category again?
Body systems for 5 points.
Body systems for 5 teams. Your question is as follows. Sword swallowers often have sore throats if they don't do it right, because they can perforate their pharynx or what other tube if they're not careful? What other tube can they perforate if they're swallowing that sword? Come on, DJ.
Esophagus?
Yeah, that's exactly right. They can pierce their esophagus. Good answer. Thank you, Nathan, for your assist on that. Go green.
Let's get physical for 15 points.
Get physical for 15 points. Teams, a good science fair experiment is to take a dry baby diaper and cut it open. Inside, you're going to find unusual crystals that if you add water to them or urine, will turn into what kind of G-initial colloid? What kind of G-initial colloid are you going to form, DJ?
A gel?
A gel it is, absolutely right. That's why they're so super absorbent. Nicely done. Go, Montpelier.
Science potpourri for 5 points.
Potpourri for 5 points. Teams, it used to be that you could only extract this hereditary chemical that makes us who we are from blood and skin samples. Now we can find it in dung. What is this chemical I'm talking about, Sierra?
DNA.
DNA, yes indeed. Good answer. Go, red.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15 points. Teams, your body's adrenal glands that produce adrenaline tell you that they are sitting atop what pair of organs in your body? The adrenal glands sit on top of what 2 organs, DJ?
Kidney.
Kidneys, that's right. The renal organs, adrenal, atop the renals. There was your clue. You got it. Go green.
Dateline science for 5 points.
Dateline for 5 points. Teams, this is rather disgusting. Scientists have built a robot designed to understand how gastroenteritis caused by the norovirus works. So they've invented a robot called Larry that produces projectile what over and over and over again? Mattaponi.
Throw up?
Throw up, absolutely right. They call him Vomiting Larry. Go red. What a friend.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points. Teams, plants like tiger lilies that don't seed themselves but come back year after year after year are known as what kind of P-initial plants? They are perennials. Perennials come back year after year. Annuals have a lifespan of 1 year, biennials 2. Go red.
Let's get physical for 20.
Get physical for 20 points. Teams, modern day chemistry kits for kids like you contain kits for making instant snow, perfume, and this non-Newtonian fluid that is ooey and gooey and is sometimes produced naturally by snails. You can make what, Montpelier?
Slime.
Slime, that's right. Slime making kits. Go, green.
Dateline science for 15 points.
Dateline for 15. Look at the monitor, please, in the studio, if you would. The newest Mars rover is called Curiosity. This is a picture of the very first Mars rover, which was named for what? African-American woman abolitionist whose last name was Truth. Montpelier.
Sojourner.
Sojourner. That is the Sojourner Mars rover. Yes, sir. Go.
Zoo parade for 20 points.
Zoo parade for 20 points. Teams, birds that eat seeds and insects have an organ called the crop, and another one called the gizzard to help break them down because they don't have teeth. But what other group of birds, what our initial group of birds that includes hawks and eagles, don't have a crop or a gizzard? Sierra.
Ravens?
Again?
Ravens?
Not ravens. What kind of our-initialed birds that include hawks and eagles do not have a crop or a gizzard to help break down their food? They're called raptors. Raptors was the correct answer. Sorry, not in time. Go again, green.
Science potpourri for 20 points.
Science potpourri for 20 points. Teams, back in 1910, Kellogg came out with the very first breakfast cereal. Also in 1910, it helped that they developed this process for heating and sterilizing milk so you could pour it on your cereal. Montpelier?
Pasteurization.
Pasteurization it was. Absolutely right. Boy, was that serendipitous. Same year as the cereals came out. Green, good answer. Go.
Dateline science for 20 points.
Dateline for 20 points. Teams, recently NASA purposely crash-landed 2 spacecraft on the surface of the moon, creating craters that were named for what first American woman in space who recently died? Her name was Sally Ride. Sally Ride, the first American woman in space. Go, please, green.
Zoot parade for 25 points.
Again, please.
Zoot parade for 25 points.
Zoot parade for 25. Big one in that category. Come on, Mattaponi, let's jump back in this game. Listen carefully. What B, as in boy, what B initialed behavior do whales exhibit when they jump out of the water to knock barnacles off their skin or come up onto the land to capture seals? What is that B-initialed behavior called for 25 points? It's called breaching. Breaching. Go again, green.
Body systems for 20 points.
Body systems for 20 points. Teams, Dr. Charles Drew, a famous African-American physician here in Washington, back in 1939, developed a method for preserving this liquid part of the blood without the red blood cells or the white blood cells so that it could be shipped and stored and then transfused into people without a worry of being mismatched to that person's blood type. What is the liquid part of the blood called? That's plasma. Plasma. Try again, green.
Green things for 25 points.
Green things for 25. Teams, sometimes green plants, like human beings, can get an embolism. They can get a bubble of air stuck in what vessel in their body that normally carries water from the soil up to the leaves? Sierra?
Stem.
More specifically, what blood vessel specifically, not blood vessel, but what vessel specifically in the stem?
Roots?
Not root. Montpelier, you can give me the name of the vessel in the plant that carries water up to the leaves. Sometimes can develop a bubble of air in dry conditions. Xylem. Xylem is the right answer. Try again, green.
Let's get physical for 25 points.
Get physical for 25 points. Teams, look at the monitor in the studio, please. No, this man is not about to suffer any injury. He's lying on a bed of nails. There's a block of concrete on his chest, and someone is about to smash that concrete with a sledgehammer. The man will not become injured because what F-initialed physical term that is arrived at by multiplying mass times acceleration is going to be dissipated by the time the energy gets down to the man. What F-initialed term? F equals ma. Mass times acceleration equals what, Sierra?
Force.
Force it is. Yes, ma'am, for 25. Good. Go, red.
Oh, goodness. Body systems for 25.
Body systems for 25 points. Teams, listen carefully. What 6-letter suffix is attached to all the operations that involve taking out your tonsils, taking out your appendix, taking out your gallbladder? Montpelier?
Ectomy.
Ectomy is right. Absolutely, Nathan. I could see your eyes light up. E-C-T-O-M-Y. Good. Go, green.
Science potpourri for 25 points.
Potpourri for 25 points. Teams, the most dangerous poison on earth is not from some snake. It is not from arsenic. It is this chemical that causes food poisoning and is actually injected under the skin to take away wrinkles if it is diluted, Montpelier.
Mercury.
Again?
Mercury.
Not mercury, no. The most dangerous poison in the world is actually one that causes food poisoning and in diluted form is injected by people for cosmetic reasons to get rid of wrinkles on their face? Yes, ma'am. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen?
Botox.
That's it. Botox it is. And just under the wire, you got that. Our buzzer says our game is over. We'll be right back. Don't you go away.
What would I do if I got tired when I'm driving? I'd probably have someone else drive me home because I wouldn't want to take the chance of, dying. I'm still young.
Yeah, sometimes I almost fall asleep when I'm driving and it really scares me, so I pull off the road.
Most times I'll try to get some coffee, anything that will give me a little burst.
And usually I'm not the one that drives because I do have the game, so I make my nerdy friends or somebody that, doesn't have athletics to deal with drive.
It's one of the most watched and upsetting episodes of Intervention ever. It's about me, when I was huffing or inhaling everyday household products to get high. I survived, a lot of people don't. The National Institute on Drug Abuse says 1 in 5 American teens have used inhalants to get high. When these normally safe products are abused, inhalants are a gateway to even more serious forms of drug abuse and can cause brain injury or death. I'm sober now, but huffing nearly took my life. Learn more at inhalant.org.
Welcome back to Science Bowl. What a great game we had here today. Good comeback there at the end by Mattaponi. We're proud of them, and not just for that. They were a super team. Our final tally today is Mattaponi 135, Montpelier 245. Congratulations to everyone wearing the matching shirts over there. Katie and DJ and Nathan and Harris and Bella Clamage. What a great team you have. We'll see you against Magnolia in the semifinals. And Mattaponi, I want to see those big smiles you guys got. Nora and Sierra and Miles, you played a super game. You never gave up. You came back at the end. Aaliyah, I know you're proud of them. Mr. Puglia, thank you for all the work you did. Super team. We want to see you back here for another edition of Science Bowl. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.